Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for Power Rangers Beast Morphers episode 16, but also 15. I run into this problem every year where when we do the specials, the cable guide will count whatever that holiday special is, like Halloween, as the next episode, so I never know how to number it and I always enter this weird phase. So I'm just going to stick to the cable guide numbering, so that puts the Halloween special at 14, especially since I'm technically reviewing the series twice, so might as well just do both different numbering schemes. Best of both worlds, Hannah Montana style. Maybe I'll be able to do it with Super Beast Morphers Season 2. Still used to saying that if we get the Australian airings again. This was another good episode. It was not really a two-parter, but it was like a continuation of last week's episode dealing with the new Fury mode and sort of the consequences of it from using those like Chaos Crystals or whatever they were called, which I thought was a really cool idea, and upon further reflection and having seen the episode twice now, I kind of wish they had kept this around longer. Like, I don't know if I necessarily needed it to be a season-long arc for like the rest of the season, but at the very least maybe one extra episode, like maybe an episode in between these two where you start to see the signs of this having negative effects on Devon, and then it comes to a head in the next episode, or maybe do it for 1-2 episodes, like he just happens to use the form and you can see a little bit of a hint at something. I think that could have been cool, because it's not as if they're pressed for time, because they have so much filler. They could easily fit a bunch of plot into this stuff, and that was kind of a cool bit, because it was neat to have this little arc that was almost like an addiction. I never really thought about that when I first saw it, but people were pointing it out in the comments that it was kind of like a drug addiction, almost like a steroids thing, which was an interesting kind of dark take for PR that was obviously, you know, dressed in this power-up crystal stuff, so it's not actually drugs, but you know what I mean. But regardless, I think it was an interesting storyline for Devon, and just in general, beyond just, hey, here's a power-up, it works, cool, that I think they could have taken advantage of for longer. But I liked that, and also in retrospect, upon further reflection, like obviously they kind of lucked out last time finding those crystals, used this for power, but you'd think after that initial, like, oh, we got this for power, boom, we defeated the enemy, that they might have taken a step back and analyzed it first. Like, it seems kind of unsafe now that I think about it, that they didn't look further into those crystals after initially using it. I mean, I guess before using it in general, but I mean, obviously they just kind of used it for that one time, but you think that maybe after that they would decide to look into the potential safety hazards of it as an official organization. I mean, in general, for any Ranger team, I think it would be smart to take a further look at it, but since they're not just somebody operating out of a tree or something, they're, you know, an official, not like, I don't know if they're a government, I always forget if they're government, if they're privatized, but regardless, they're an official organization, so you think they would probably try to investigate it more or come up with alternative resources or something, so that was kind of dumb, at least on their part, I mean. Another part that also I remember bringing up, and that it kind of triggered me a little bit, just because it wasn't that bad in this episode, but it's a concept that's been used in PR before, which is that Power Rangers aren't supposed to help with everyday crime. And again, I think I said these exact words in my first review, but I'm not saying the Power Rangers need a police scanner and should be trying to help with other stuff, but I don't see why they wouldn't help if they come across something. Like Devon came across this robber car thief guy, and he stopped it, and the cop's like, whoa, stay in your lane. Like, I think I was a little overreacting the first time I saw it, but still, it's like, well, you're welcome for doing your job. Like, you couldn't have high-speed chased that guy on your feet. You didn't even know that was happening. That cop was, like, totally somewhere else. Like, I don't know. I just don't like that idea, and then the commander, like, reprimanded him. Like, I get that part of it was because of how extreme he was being, because of his, you know, drug addiction, or his, you know, crystal addiction, or whatever, you know what I mean? Well, I guess that's the same thing. The part of the reprimanding was about him being too aggro about it. But, in general, I don't see the problem with Rangers helping with everyday stuff. Like, are they supposed to, like, you know that scene in Spider-Man 2 when he's trying to avoid being Spider-Man and he very reluctantly walks away from the mugging? Is that what the Power Rangers are supposed to do? Like, well, that's not a monster, guess I'll go. No, that's stupid. I always thought that was a stupid role. There's a lot of rules the Rangers established with Zordon and stuff that I think are just dumb, and that just kind of triggered my thoughts on that, even though part of it was just meant to be that he was not supposed to be so aggro about it. Even though not just necessarily him helping, but I don't think he shouldn't have gotten in trouble for helping. I think he should help no matter what. To hell with their rules. I mean, I don't know. I'm getting triggered again just thinking about it. Like, hold me back, coach. Hold me back. Coach, would you please hold me back? That in the episode, and then they ended up, you know, curing it by destroying it when Ravi fought him. The only part I thought was dumb about that was that Devon ends up squashing it himself which I get was meant to be an emotional moment of him actually coming around and recognizing the problem himself and overcoming it. But when Ravi had it in his hands, I'm like, why didn't you just crush it? Especially since his power is the gorilla strength. Again, I know what they were going for, and it was more meaningful if Devon, I guess, came to the conclusion himself and had enough inner strength to stop himself. But it just made no sense that when they were playing the game to keep away, Ravi wouldn't just crush it. Like, I thought that was kind of stupid. Also, something I feel like I haven't mentioned in a couple weeks, as I still do like that there's that competition story going with Blaze and Roxy. I like that they've kept that going. It gives things a little bit more of a sense of continuity and momentum, so I wanted to draw attention to that. But overall, I thought this was another strong episode. I definitely had my nitpicks, but it's kind of more about my personal problems with certain aspects in the franchise in general does, but overall, I thought this was a good episode, an interesting follow-up. It's kind of interesting to me that they never found a solution for this power-up. I hope in Season 2 they do, even though they probably won't need it when they have the Super Mode power-up. But I wish they would have so we could have seen more of the form. But overall, good episode. I would give it an 8. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications from my videos. And check out my shirt store in the comments for Beast Morphers and Dawson-related shirts. Dawson Rider, signing out.